What happens if the court actually rules that the IRS interpretation is okay? Who are the winners and losers in that?
Well, the loser is the rule of law and the notion that Congress actually enacts statutes, because there's no serious argument on the other side that says state means federal. So it would be an abandonment. It would
That's
be.
I'm really accused of not being serious.
Well, you can be serious, but there's no question that if what was at issue here was a mortgage deduction, and the IRS came in and said, no, state means federal through this Rube Goldberg mechanism of a term of which is very important. And at every turn, if you look at the whole statute, it reinforces the points that we're making. Very simply stated, 36B says, in the plainest possible English, you only get subsidies on exchanges established by the state. Neither Solicitor General Verrilli nor anybody else in this panel is going to explain to you why an English-speaking person who is trying to convey that subsidies were available on federal exchanges would use that formulation. There's no rational alternative. Looking at the context of the statute as a whole, what do we discover? 1311 of the statute says the state shall establish a showing Congress's extraordinarily strong preferences for states to establish exchanges, which explains the purpose behind conditioning subsidies on states establishing exchanges. And when you go through the legislative history, you don't see a single person saying anything at all inconsistent with the plain text of the statute. So under the normal legislative materials that any justice on the court has ever looked at, the answer is as clear as can possibly be. So if they depart from that, it will be, in my view, correctly perceived as something that is not driven by being a neutral umpire calling balls and strikes, but jumping into the middle of a partisan political issue, so the real loser in that event, which I'm sure will never occur, but if it did, would be the institutional prestige of the Supreme Court.
Nick, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I disagree with pretty much all of that. The victor here, if the Supreme Court would decide with the IRS, would in fact be the rule of law. No statute is construed in a vacuum. Statutes are construed as a whole. And so when Congress used the phrase established by the state, we ask, what did Congress mean to communicate? We try to figure that out.
What did they mean to communicate? Nick, please answer me. Why would if you can answer this question, then I'll shut up. Why would a legislative draftsman in his head thinking, subsidies are available on exchanges established by the federal government, sit down, nobody's arguing Scrivener's error here, and consciously write exchanges established by the state? Why did they do that?
It's not a felicitous phrase, Michael.